The NASCAR Cup Series is ready for a dance with the lady in black. Yep, that's right. We are racing at Darlington in the Goodyear 400. Welcome back to Sunday Salutes together with NASCAR and Coca-Cola. I'm your host, Jesse Iwuji, joined by my co-host, Kim Coon. Now, Kim, this weekend is nothing short of exciting. It's Throwback weekend.
Yes, it is one of my favorite weekends of the year, and I cannot wait to see what looks the drivers bring to the grid. And speaking of drivers, we sat with the driver of the number 3 car, Austin Dillon, to discuss his latest experience with some of our service members. And of course, the track Too Tough to Tame, Darlington Raceway. But first, a quick word from track president, Kerry Tharp.
Hello, race fans. This is Kerry Tharp, president here at Darlington Raceway. And we want to thank you for coming out here this weekend for the Goodyear 400 Throwback Weekend, Mother's Day, and NASCAR Salutes together with Coca-Cola. You are the greatest fans in the world, and we thank you for your support. And we look forward to seeing you back at the track very, very soon.
It's obviously the month of May, which means we are saluting all of the men and women who do things to allow us the freedoms that we have. And we're honoring our military in more unique ways this year with the virtual Mission 600. And you got paired with the U.S. Army Central Kuwait. And I know you just wrapped up with them. What was that experience like for you?
Oh, it was really cool to be able to, Zoom across the world and see what our men and women in the Army are doing in Kuwait. Getting to, check out their workout program that kind of relates to what they do and what they have to be prepared for. So it was cool, and I'm sure it was really hot there.
I've been to Kuwait once. It wasn't a very pleasant experience, but I was there. But during this time period over there in the Arabian Gulf, it is scorching.
It seems like there's some counterpoints there to the things that you have to do physically to get yourself prepared to be in the race car, Austin. Were you able to connect with them on some of those points? Obviously, the physical training a little bit different and training for different things, but I imagine there were a lot of commonalities.
Yeah, the heat is the biggest thing, but heat sucks no matter what. There's not really a good way to train for it. You just kind of deal with it. And, obviously staying hydrated is a big part of that.
Austin, you've always been really vocal about your support for our troops, and you've gotten to do a lot of different and exciting events with them throughout the years. Is there one in particular that stands out to you or maybe has impacted you differently than others?
Man, I've had so much fun. We put together a program with Coca-Cola and leading up to the 600, the Salutes program. And, I've got to go to the Coast Guard, Army, and Fort Bragg. Been able to work, I think, with the Navy also. So it's pretty cool. I always put a seal on our car for the 600 miles of remembrance. The men and women and of our military are everything. They're the reason we get to race on the weekends and enjoy our time. And so anytime I see them at the track, I'm really excited to let them experience what we get to every weekend and put on a show for them.
We definitely thank you for sure for the support and honoring our service members. It's awesome, especially when somebody like you who's won a lot of races here at NASCAR, done a lot of great things, are always supporting us, and honoring our service members because they've done a lot to make sure that we have the freedoms that we have here in the U.S. And you ended up winning the Coke 600 a few years ago. How did that feel for you? Being able to do it on that day with the huge military appreciation effort that NASCAR was doing with Coca-Cola for that weekend.
Thanks, Jesse, and thank you for your service also. And the 600 winning that was awesome. Obviously, I feel like I had a tie to who was on my car that race because the family actually got to come into victory lane with us. I got to race against Jimmy Johnson in that race, and he ran out of fuel right before the end of the race. So we were kind of in a battle with him, and it's awesome. That day for the 600 is usually an awesome race day as well because you got the Indy race, the F1 race, NASCAR all coming together. So you get to watch racing all day, and then the blowout that we have before is so cool at the Coke 600 because there's all the branches are represented there, and then you have the flyover and the national anthem, and it's just so special.
Jesse and I were talking before, and he's actually never been to Darlington Raceway.
Never.
Give us an idea, give Jesse an idea of what it was like for you when you walked into Darlington for the first time. Like, when he gets there eventually, what can he expect?
Are you driving at Darlington this weekend, Jesse?
No, not this weekend, but I definitely want to be there. Hopefully next year. Yeah, but I've never been to the track, never even stepped foot on the grounds there. I've always watched the races on TV. They look super exciting. I've been on it on iRacing. It definitely is a tough track, that's for sure. With turns 1 and 2 being vastly different than 3 and 4. But yeah, I guess give me some tips and hints because I need to learn that track.
Darlington's awesome. It's just kind of you pull up to it and you're like, what is this doing here? And you go inside and you're like, oh wow, this is intimidating. Turn 1 is crazy. The banking, it doesn't make sense that you got to drive in there as hard as you do. And by the time you've kind of entered 1, you're already against the wall. It's one of those places where the center of the corner gets really tight, and you got to manipulate the car to make the exit work. And then 3 and 4 is a little more natural feeling, I feel like, to most, because you kind of move around just a little bit there. You don't have to run the top. You can sometimes run the bottom, and it's a cool track. And it starts wearing tires, and you're losing the front of the car, and the back goes with it. And so the saying of race the racetrack is really the truth.
Wow. Well, hopefully it's forgiving, at least for the car. Because I've seen people who get that Darlington stripe. I'm like, well, I guess it's just a normal thing. I guess the cars can take it, or I don't know.
It's never good, I feel like, to hit the wall, but I guess if you're going to hit it, that place, if you can just skim it, it's okay. But what I did, it was more than just hit it. I smacked it off it too. Pretty good.
Good advice. Good advice. Point taken.
Last time you won a extremely big race, you got a tattoo. Would a Southern 500 win warrant another tattoo? And if so, what?
Yes, I think so. I think it's worth the tattoo. Crown jewel, for sure. Just the logo of the race, you know what I mean? I'll put the logo on my butt if I win this weekend.
Well, as we wind down our time with you, a couple of quick things. Because it is the month of May and NASCAR salutes, we want to ask you, who do you salute?
I salute all the military men and women out there. Actually, on our car, for the 600 miles remembrance, we have a Navy SEAL, David Fagee. I can't really pronounce his last name properly, but he's a special, Jess, you might have to help me with this, special warfare officer. Yep. Was in the field. So he's going to be in our car, and I salute all the military men and women out there. So thank you for your service.
So Jesse, after that bit of advice from Austin, just how much more excited are you to race at Darlington?
Actually, I am pretty pumped. It's a cool track. There's so much tradition, so much history behind that track, especially with the Throwback weekend. I love the way the cars look. Love the way, all the different pit crews are coming into the race dressed all different. Everyone has their different wardrobes they're bringing. I'm pretty pumped. And it just looks like a fun track overall to race at, like a racer's track. And after my experience the other night in the iRacing event, the Pro Invitational, ended up finishing top 10 in the race. That it was fun. I mean, I learned how to drive that Gen 7 car all the way around the track, stayed out of trouble, didn't get in any wrecks, and raced my way up front and just had a really good time. So I'm excited to get there in real life eventually.
Yeah, that was a stellar iRacing performance. So kudos to you, especially since you've never been to Darlington. But I know your fans will be so excited when you finally do hit the track too tough to tame.
Yes, they will be for sure. And I spoke to some of my fellow service members in our United States Air Force and discussed several different topics. So check it out.
So I'm Senior Airman Harden from Tennessee originally, currently stationed at the 14th Weather Squadron in Asheville, North Carolina. So like the captain there, I'm also a weather forecaster on the enlisted side. Our focus here is climatology, so we support all the units globally with their climatology needs and employ that for the military purposes. And I came from Japan just recently, so got to spend 2.5 years there. Was amazing, loved that. And I've been in since, I'll be in 4 years next week actually, so loving every bit of it. I grew up watching NASCAR. It was a pretty cool experience. Went to some races over in Bristol growing up, but Uncle is a big NASCAR fan, and so that's always been a thing that we would do growing up every Sunday, Sunday dinner after church, watch NASCAR after church. So yeah, thanks for the opportunity again, and it's a little about me.
what's your favorite memories at Darlington? Do you have any funny ones, any good ones? Let us know.
Well, certainly, the Throwback Weekend, which we've had here since 2015, this will be our 7th year, has brought out all these different paint schemes that we've talked about. It's just kind of like a walk down memory lane. And when you get to see, some of the greats that'll be there Sunday, like Richard and Dale, Bill Elliott's going to be there, Leonard Wood will be there on Sunday. And so to have some of the greats like that of the sport be there, to me, that is what racing's all about. It's kind of a reunion when you have the Throwback Weekend. And, it gives you fans an opportunity one weekend a year to salute all the greats in the sport. And I guess that's probably some of the things that I remember the most, just being able to bring back some of the heroes of the sport.
It's pretty cool to see. I love the Throwback Weekend. It's awesome. I wish we had more of them, but it does make it special with it being at Darlington. And I bet you here in about 20, 30 years or so, somebody's going to do a throwback of 2020 and they're going to wear a mask. I know they are. Someone's going to do it.
Oh, my goodness. I hadn't even thought about that, Justin. You're exactly right, Tom. You're exactly right.
Well, growing up, I used to live about an hour and a half from the Pocono Speedway, so I used to go to Pocono for both races every year. I think my favorite racetrack I've ever been to was the Monster Mile in Dover. That racetrack's it's an animal. And recently, it was at Atlanta too, Daytona, Bristol on dirt. Holy cow! That was, I'm a little bit more dirt track than NASCAR, but them late models are flying, and then seeing the cup cars on dirt was just phenomenal to see that. And Stuart Friesen running like every class in his 44 car. That was awesome to see. A driver go from a big block car to a late model to a truck car to a cup car. Just seeing them and everything. It's just watching drivers bump around from Kyle Larson's, I guess, the perfect example, from a sprint car to a late model to a cup car again. It's just NASCAR's great. Just like Cap Story said, getting down the track with them, Daytona, getting to be with the crew, Bailey Curry and Mike Harmon, all that, just being down there with them, and just amazing the camaraderie and brotherhood that all the NASCAR, that their heroes have. So they're heroes to the kids that love the sport. So that's just awesome.
Thank you, guys. This was incredible. I'll tell you what an opportunity. And I'm just so appreciative that you guys look out for the troops. It's so, like y'all said earlier, I don't think there's another sport that even comes close to doing the things for the military that you guys do. And it just, I can't even put it into words. It's a magical experience. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for supporting us. We could not do it without your support. Look forward to a great race.
What great stories we heard from our Air Force service members. They've done so much to protect this country and sacrificed a lot.
Well, we appreciate your service, Jesse, and the sacrifice of all our troops. As we mentioned earlier, the NASCAR Cup Series will race at the Lady in Black today, which also means Throwback Weekend. Take a look at some of the best paint schemes from our Coke drivers and their best retro impersonations. Well, so many great paint schemes from our Coke drivers, and really every year, every team goes above and beyond when it comes to Throwback Weekend. And I know I always love seeing Joey Logano's paint schemes. Last year stands out to me. He had that 1985 nod to Bobby Allison's number 22. And this year, he's given some praise to Mario Andretti with his throwback scheme. So you really never know what you're going to get with Joey Logano and his throwback picks.
Yeah, there's a lot of beautiful cars out there. I love Throwback Weekend. Everyone's paying homage to some type of old school theme. One of my favorites was Tony Stewart's Home Depot car, and Daniel Suarez, he paid homage to that back in 2019. That was a beautiful scheme he had running at Darlington. Now, Kim, Darlington Race Weekend is huge, but what also is important is that it's Mother's Day weekend. So before we sign off, we cannot go without giving a huge happy Mother's Day shout out to all of the moms out there allowing us to have fun this weekend. And I definitely want to give a huge shout out and happy Mother's Day to my mom out there in Dallas, Texas. Happy Mother's Day.
Yes, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We appreciate everything you ladies do to make each and every day wonderful. And I want to say a big thank you to my mom. I wouldn't be where I am today without her and her help. Well, before we go, let's get a final word from another one of our Coke drivers. Here's Denny Hamlin.
You definitely have to make sure you don't take it for granted, because a lot of parents don't get to see their kids grow up and do what they always wanted to do. And she's been a supporter of mine since back in the go-kart days, chasing me around the country, running national events. So she's been in the grind with me for the last 30 years or so.
It amazes me how far that he's gotten. I knew that he had the talent, and all that his dad and I had wished for was that he would be able to at least get to the point to where he could compete with the best of the best. But for him to be one of the best is very rewarding.
I think all they ever wish for is for somebody else to pay for it.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Thanks, everyone, for sticking around for our second episode of Sunday Salutes together with NASCAR and Coca-Cola.
Be sure to tune into the race today at 3:30 p.m. on FS1 and come back next week for another great episode. As always, happy race day.
Congratulations on your 700th start here today. Let's go out and make something, make it memorable, okay? We'll fight all day. We'll make the adjustments we need. We'll go get the victory lane, buddy. Yeah, I'm just all over the place. I don't have any grip.
I get tight at the 3/4 mark. If it settles out, we'll be just fine.
All right, listen. We got three next to each other on the left rear. One of them fell off. We're going to end up a lap down. Do the best you can. Kid's going to get crashed. What the Did this job coming to pit road. It's really slow. Yeah, I can feel the changes, but it's not getting any better. It's just changing.
Keep it up there, coming inside. Keep it up there. Caution.
Clear the damage, right side. Let's go. I don't want to lose a lap.
Protect the outside. Protect that outside. Stay up. Caution's out.
Oh, man. P10. Way to battle right there, buddy. P12. Nice recovery given the we had there at the end.